Hello and welcome to Conversations with Claire. This is my first interview that I've done as part of my business. And today I have the wonderful Melissa Pritchard with us, Mel. And I'm really thrilled to invite her on. Now, I met Melissa about a year ago. Is it, Melissa? About a year?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
literally is a year now.
Yeah, a year. She fell into my
Yeah.
lap, as a lot of my clients do. But I wanted to share her story of healing and transformation and moving into a higher conscious business. So I'm just going to go straight in and welcome Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hey,
Please
Claire.
introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
All right. Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to be doing this with you. I'm a solo mum. I've got two teenagers and a very sketchy fur baby. I'm also the primary support person for my mum who lives with us. And up until a year ago, right around the time that I connected with Claire, I had been a foster carer for 18 months as well. Um, as far as other aspects of my life, I am a corporate escapee. I have now just work online, and I also have conquered chronic pain, depression, and emotional eating, which I'm the most excited about. I now have far healthier and far more regular self-care, which was completely absent from my life. And was also moving in a very directionless state. But now I feel like I'm really creating my own future and for my kids as a result of that. So that's the journey the last 12 months particularly, but the last few recent years has been quite incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it got to a peak with you, didn't it, when you reached out and had a conversation with me where, you were not only single mum, but looking after two teenagers, your mum, and foster care, and also a really busy online business. You were supporting other clients as well as as your boss as such. And it was amazing how we connected. And you've just gone from strength to strength. And I really wanted to invite you on because your voice is going to resonate, your story is going to resonate with a lot of women that, have multiple hats and jobs, but the transformation in you in 12 months, but even quite quickly within like 3 and 6 months, was incredibly rapid.
Mhm.
Do you want to share a little bit of where you were 12 months ago with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. A year ago, I really was at the edge of deep depression. I had had multiple back-to-back events across about 2 years where I had literally lived in flight, fight, advocacy mode for others while experiencing financial stress of just constantly being broke. And the only self-care I practiced was literally showering daily. That was it. I was not eating well. I was not sleeping well. And I'm a great sleeper. I just wasn't getting enough. I just wasn't doing anything well, except when it came to other people. And I was their champion, and I was there. So 3 years ago, I was in a really great place. My online business was thriving. It's my sketchy dogs come in for a bit of love. Uh, I was looking forward to a great holiday adventure with the kids. I'd planned it out really well. I had allocated a really abundant budget for us. But then it all turned in about a month, really suddenly. And I lost all the clients that I currently had at that time. They all each dropped off for various reasons. And there goes my revenue along with that. So that was very distressing. But the holiday was cancelled because you may remember 3 years ago, about this time, 2021,
Yeah.
we went into lockdowns, which ended up about 5 months. So everything was cancelled. In the same week that the lockdowns were announced, my ex-partner and the father of my two kids was diagnosed with cancer. By the end of the 2 week school holidays, which was that first 2 weeks of July, he was diagnosed as terminal, and 8 weeks after that, he had actually died. We hadn't really spoken in about 10 years, not well. Not really. We weren't friends. But he still nominated me to be his support person through that process. So I was advocating for him with the hospital, constantly trying to send him home to an empty house. I was the emotional support for him, logistical, practical support for him, and emotional support for our kids. And it was really draining. So that was a very crazy roller coaster moment, a few months. But then by the end of the year, we had a 5-year-old extended family member come live with us. And he was as a foster placement. And with him came a very stressful and exhausting 18-month battle with a very broken child welfare system and a very toxic caseworker. So this is what kept me in this very peak state of flight, fight, advocacy mode for other people. But even if that wasn't enough, we got him home, and that was a massive, massive win. It was beautiful. He's been home for a year now, which is fantastic. It's a successful restoration. However, 12 months ago, around the time he went home, I had another very close family member experience a serious mental health episode, which caused me, I was already emotionally exhausted. So I just spiraled towards a deep depression at that point. And I knew I had to be okay, and I knew I wasn't, which is why I came looking for support. A friend and colleague referred me to you. And well, that was amazing. It was the best thing ever. I'd been in psychology before years ago, and I knew that would help. But I'd also been around the fringes of energy healing and spiritual realm and working with your body for many, many, many years, most of my life. And I knew that was going to be the fastest pathway to getting off that edge. Yeah, off that edge. So that's where I fully embraced your healings, the spiritual guidance, understanding that my experiences were a result of my choices, and that my body was holding on to all of those effects. And that really was the shortcut I needed to feel better enough to, in a really, really short, quick time frame, to then be able to cope with what was happening in my life. Yeah.
Because you resisted it for a long time, didn't you, the spiritual path?
So long. So long. So, I mean,
Why did you resist it?
because I had seen other people delving in but not getting results. And in hindsight, what I can see now is the reason that they weren't getting those results because they weren't doing the work. They actually didn't do the work. It was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to learn about this and then move on to the next one, the next modality. And it's like, but you didn't do anything with this. So was that just a fun experiment? But yeah, so and that's the difference that I have seen, is that when I jumped in, when I decided to make that shift and take that step, I decided that I was all in. I was 100%, I was all in, and I wasn't really ready to, but I knew that if I didn't face, for want of a better word, my demons, if I didn't put myself into a place where I was uncomfortable, then I wasn't going to get past it and I wasn't going to get through it. So, but what I did find was the way you guide and support your clients, it actually isn't painful. Like, there's kind of like this healing balm entwined in with the work. And as you say, you want us to be on the fun bus and not the shit bus. And that's, I was expecting I had to ride the shit bus to get through to the fun zone. But yeah, so that was really welcomed. That was beautiful because it did make it easier to do the work and to stay the course and stay focused.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because when I got onto this healing path, um, I didn't actually think that there was much wrong with me. Jokingly aside, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't have anxiety. Oh, I don't have any of that." Right? And then a few sessions in, with a healer, I was like, "Oh, I feel really good. Is that what anxiety was?" I was so dissociated from my own feelings and emotions, and I didn't actually know the difference between my feelings and my clients' feelings because I used to take all my clients' stuff on. Right?
Yeah.
So I actually just didn't. I was confused a lot of the time. I was completely dissociated. And, I've been in healing sessions where it's been difficult, right? But if you can have an energy of fun, like I call it the fun bus, right? If you can have it from an energy and an awareness of fun, exploration, and I like to call it being a spiritual detective, right? And see what's going on. But we're not going to relive the trauma. We're just going to be aware of what's going on and the patterns. And I do bring lightheartedness into it because I think that's really important, right? Because what it does, it lightens
Mm.
everything up. If you're doing the digging, if you're doing the spiritual detective work, and you're going back into those feelings and emotions of what's gone on either in this life or in a past life, you don't want to be healing through like what they say, the dark night of the soul, and those types of healing crises that you can bring in. So I think it's important that you do bring a sense of safety and lightheartedness around everything, because it actually just is like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to clear that. Yeah, that's not how I want to be. And sometimes the universe does put you in some of the darkest situations to force you onto an alternative path. And we'll talk about that in a minute with your other business that you've achieved while on this journey, um, within my energy field, and everybody else is within the community. So you jumped all in, you took that leap of faith, and you've not looked back, obviously. So tell me, what has been the catalyst to your transformation and change? I mean, obviously the spiritual side of things, but it
Mm.
hasn't just been that, it's been other things.
My initial catalyst for change was at the beginning of last year, so 18 months ago. I knew, I knew my life, I knew my world was going to shift financially, that I was going to have to find something else, another source of revenue, a different source of revenue. I didn't want everything to be reliant on one source of revenue anymore. And so I made the decision to look for other business opportunities. And I found one and opened my business mentorship business. And that is um, in line with a high ticket affiliate product, and it gets to um, I get to support other women. I don't not work with men, but I seek out working with women to create their own business that is going to has the opportunity and the potential to create a legacy wealth income. So that's a pathway I'm on, and then I get to share others to do that as well. And the basis product for that is with a Kangen water machine. And Kangen water is it's not just water filtered, but it's a water ionizer. So you end up with this hydrogen rich, oxygen reduced water, which means basically it's living water. So what we get out of our tap, besides all the chemicals and pharmaceuticals and traces of all sorts of nasties that are in there, it's disgusting. Um, it's dead water. It's not actually alive. So actually, here's a great. I've poured my glass of water this morning, and it's been sitting here, and I don't know if you can see the
Yeah,
bubbles.
yeah, bring it over a bit more. That's it, perfect.
There you
Yeah,
go. Look at my face, beautiful there, all big. And so all those bubbles, that's literally that's not what do you call it? It's not air bubbly water. What do you mean? Like carbonated?
Yeah, carbonated.
It's just water. It's flat water. Like, but it's alive.
Yeah.
And so what that does, it has a higher pH level, which hydrates your cells quicker and more effectively. And it's so that it's been amazing. So I did look for this, a new business opportunity to get that off the ground because I knew things were going to change. I didn't know life was going to take such a downhill turn. So I'm really glad that I got onto this first. But what this comes with is a training platform available to us that there's a very large component around mindset. And that mindset component, I was like, oh, this stuff actually is really, really important. This really, and there was no pressure. It's like, you have to do this, you have to do this. It's like, this is something that's going to be effective. Here's the resources. So it's very at self-paced, and you choose what you open yourself up to. And I did open myself up to it. So I think that was a turning point for when life did turn really sour so quickly. And I thought, I've been in therapy, I know that can work, but I also know how deep you have to delve to get into and unfold issues and traumas to be able to come out the other side. I don't have that kind of time. I need to be okay now. And that's where I think connecting with that mindset work through the business platform then opened me up more to go, you know what? I know a quicker pathway here, and I know that's through energy healing. I
Yeah.
just don't know an energy healer that I can go to. So that was, that's where I reached out to a couple of people and was referred to you, jumped into the group and went, done.
Yeah, it
Here
was
I
it was
am.
it was great because, the universe does support you, even if you're going through the crappiest time, like, and you were being delivered horseshit every few months, weren't you? It was like,
Yeah,
you are
it didn't
going to
stop.
find a way out. And Melissa's at the age of moving into the wise woman, right? Melissa and I are similar ages. And she was going through that stage of transformation and change. But also, we with Melissa, we worked a lot on people pleasing, over giving,
Mhm.
boundaries and things like that. But we also worked a lot on deeper issues, because the over giving and the people pleasing was actually detriment to her health. It was having a massive, massive effect, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But Melissa is in charge of her family, right? She has to provide the finances for her family, and she knew with having to experience powerlessness, as in the clients dropped off, right? Because she experienced the powerlessness, she knew that she was not going to put herself in that position ever again, right? So she needed to take her power back, and this is the awakening of women, right? Coming into doing more women's work. So she took her power back, and she looked for an income stream. But what was beautiful was the income stream, the business that was given to you gave you a sense of power. It gave you
Mm.
that mindset, that belief work. And the universe was like, well, how do you like that? And it was delivered to you. And you were like, actually, this is really cool. And it's like, okay, let's go let's go the next stage. And then, you came to me, and we looked at, your beliefs and your wounds and your healing. We took it layer by layer. That's the beautiful thing, right? So when we work with healing, and when I work with clients, whether it's in a group program or whether it's privately one-on-one, and we've done both together,
Mm.
the universe delivers If you set the intention, the universe will deliver it in the most loving, gentle, easy way. And it's just been like evolving with you all the time. And it's just been wonderful, wonderful to watch. And as I'm talking to you, my heart is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, it just to me, it's just like, okay, now I realise why I gave up one business in the hair and beauty industry to do this work. Because, you know, I can
Yeah.
get an amazing haircut and colour, right? And I can put your makeup on you. But when I see you earning money, you know, lighting other people's lives up, you know, from healing that people pleasing, that over giving. And, you know, we have to keep an
Mm.
eye on it with you 100%.
Oh, and I kept getting tested so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, now you are facilitating transformation in other people's lives. You know, you've gone through your hero's journey now, right? And now you're coming out the other side, and you're going to help assist that with other people. But what I loved is the fact that you were given this water product, because, you
Mm.
know, as a medical intuitive, my teacher taught me that, you know, if you can only do two things in your life to make a change within your health and well-being, it is water and
Mm.
meditation. You know, those are the two key areas. And sometimes when I work with private clients, and it was the same with you, right? When you landed in my lap, we needed to look at your health. We needed to look at your health straight away. And that actually
Yes,
wasn't
we
working
did.
with me straight off, right? It was
Yeah.
actually me sending you to a naturopath, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh my goodness. That first session, and you told me to go to a naturopath and get checked out. Where am I at? My vitamin minerals. I'm like, yep, okay. But I didn't go straight away, because after that first session that we had, and that was that your free discovery call, which was just, I came away with so much from that. And luckily, because I then had a situation where my daughter, who was only in year 7, her first year of high school, needed to change schools, and we needed to make that happen quick. So that was within a 2-week period. And the day she started her first day at her new school, which has been a wonderful outcome and an absolute godsend. That's been beautiful. My mum got hit by a car. So there I am, back thrown straight back into this flight advocacy mode for other people, right at the point where I'm like, I realize I've been in this state for the last 2 years, and I need to get out of this. This is not okay. This is not actually healthy for anyone around me either. And bam, straight back in there. So that really tested my resolve about, was I really serious about making these changes? So I continued on with your energy healings, the meditations, the cards of the week, your guidance through the Facebook group, through Facebook Lives. That was great. So it took me a couple of months actually before I went to the naturopath. But when I did, her advice was get your latest blood results. I thought, oh, it's been a while. So I went and had a fresh blood test done. Went to the GP. Don't know what I want to test, but I'm going to the naturopath. This is what I'm doing. So, you tell me what I need. So it turns out I had low vitamin B and B12, and I had low vitamin D. And that's not really a surprise. I was very exhausted and run down. But I had super, super, super high blood sugar readings. I was type 2 diabetic, and I didn't know. And in hindsight, looking back and understanding the symptoms, pretty sure I've had it for a few years, and I had no idea. So I was also obesely overweight, and just generally unhealthy. So unhealthy, had a terrible diet, had all sorts of things wrong, no exercise, all the bad things. But I didn't have any serious health issues that I knew about at that point. So that was something that was kept weighing on my mind since our conversation, was like, you know, you're 50 here. You don't have any serious health issues. You're grossly obese. You have terrible diet. You don't exercise, and no serious health issues. Really? That's not going to last. This is gonna turn nasty at some point. So I was really grateful that that was your advice, one of your advices, to go and see a naturopath. And working with a naturopath, I got to turned that around incredibly quick. The doctor said, you're type 2 diabetic, go and see the diabetic nurse, we'll talk about insulin. I went, no, I am not doing this. I don't take pharmaceutical medicines for anything. I'm not starting now. All I saw was I start taking insulin. Next minute it's going to be blood pressure. Next minute it's going to be cholesterol. Next minute it's going to be, I don't know, thyroid. I don't know. I just saw this being the beginning of this downward spiral of adding, and 10 years later I'm taking 20 medications. And I just went, no, I don't care if that was an overreaction, because that has saved me. So I worked with a naturopath, and 6 weeks later I had a normal blood sugar reading. And I
turned it around in 6 weeks. Are you listening,
6
everybody?
weeks.
Turned it around in 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So when I spoke to the naturopath, she said, diet, exercise, sleep, water, and joy. They were the 5 keys. The only thing I was doing well was the water.
You were doing that, right? At
least I was doing that. And I've always enjoyed drinking water. So I've always liked water. So I do drink enough water. But even then, I still had to increase. 2 litres a day really isn't my jam. I actually need about 3. That's more. And I could probably do even more. But I run to the toilet so many times a day. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to a nappy. Sorry.
Yeah.
So no, it was an incredible journey. And the really surprising thing though was I went back to the GP and got a proper blood sugar testing done.
Yeah, I remember this.
And she literally, I was gobsmacked. My blood sugar level was 11.3 to start with. 6 weeks later, it was 5.4. I had made tweaks to my diet. The naturopath didn't say, you have to go on this strict regime. She said, right, what do you eat? What can we tweak? And we literally tweaked my diet so it didn't feel like I was dieting. She added, can you just go for a walk 30 minutes 3 times a week? Where can we? She worked with me, and it was just amazing. I didn't have to go to boot camp. I didn't have to join a gym. I didn't have to do anything drastic. It was really nice. I felt very, very supported. And so 6 weeks later, I have this blood sugar level reading of 5.4, which is well and truly within normal range. But because my 3-month average was still slightly elevated of what they wanted it to be, the GP is like, no, you're still type 2 diabetic. You need to talk to the diabetic nurse, and I can give you a medication that'll help you lose weight. And that stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, hang on a second. You're talking about a 3-month average when I've only been working on this for 6 weeks. There's kind of some basic math there that doesn't add up. And I'm not going on insulin. I literally have a normal blood sugar reading now. And now also I have been losing weight. I have been reducing my weight. So I think at that point I had dropped about 5 kilos in that 6 weeks, 5 to 6 kilos in that 6 weeks. I've mostly averaged about 1 kilo a week. And I hadn't really done a lot to do that. It was tweaks. And basically I think she was talking, I got them from what she said, I remembered she was talking about prescribing me Ozempic, which all the nasty things I've read about Ozempic, I'm like, are you trying to set me up to fail here? Like, no, thank you. No, can't I just keep doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And she said, and she was really hesitant. Said, all right, I'll give you 3 months. So we did another blood sugar reading in 3 months, and my 3-month average, they want it to be under 6 point, I can't remember what it is. Say it's 6.4. They want it to max out at 6.4. I was 6.5. She
was teaching you to stand in and stand your ground.
What? Right. And I really had to. I go to the naturopath and she's like, yay. Yes. She was volunteering and supporting me. She's my biggest cheerleader. And that was fantastic. She's like, you've done amazing. This is fantastic. I'm like, that's what I thought.
Oh,
Tell the
grumpy.
GP. So this has been, I've really haven't had a lot of respect for that GP. I've been with her since I was pregnant with my daughter, who's turning 14. So it's been a lot of years.
Mm.
But I could not believe her reaction with this process. And I wasn't supported at all to do it myself, to do it naturally. And I don't know if they're jaded because people don't make that kind of effort. That's an unusual story. Or if it's kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. I literally do not know what happens there. But, I have my suspicions. And people have their opinions. So, but as a result, it's been October was when I went to the naturopath the first time. And what are we, June now? The last month or couple of months, I've slowed down on my exercise, but I've still maintained my better eating and, of course, my water and my sleep and my joy and my mindset work. And I'm down 23 kilos.
It's just amazing.
I'm down 23 kilos. So
I
it's
mean,
just,
somebody with a gastric band is looking at that type of weight loss, aren't they, roughly?
wow. Yeah,
Right? And
they're
you haven't had
nasty.
to do
Yeah.
any of that. You are doing,
Yeah.
and the great thing is, because I have had clients, hairdressing clients, right, in the past that have had gastric band operations, and it is amazing, right? But I've
Mm,
also seen the positive and the negative come out of that. What was great with you is that you are down that amount of weight, but you've also looked at the sweetness of life, right? You've also brought joy back
yeah.
in. You've also empowered yourself, right? And you've changed your mindset and your beliefs, haven't you?
Oh, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I'm a totally different person. I was, woe is me. This is happening to me. This isn't fair. What else? Like, seriously, universe, what else could happen? Oh, let
Yeah.
me show you,
You
is the
were, yeah,
response.
you were stuck in
Mm,
circumstantial power. You were just driving
mm,
along the road and letting the whole shit fly at you, and you were like
yes.
reactive with everything. Whereas now you've stepped into your own personal power, and some
Yes.
days shit hits the fan, right? I had a day, not yesterday, day before, where I literally drove over a concrete bollard in the car park. It. Don't laugh, okay? I was not in my husband's good books. And I actually said to him, in 30 years, this is the second time I've done something to a
Yeah.
car. I don't think it's that bad
Wow.
on the rate of what
Wow.
it is. And I just didn't see it right.
Yeah.
And I was tested. And because,
Yeah.
as we grow and evolve, we're always up leveling, we're always changing, right? I'm always up for an up level. But for me, I sat there and I went, okay, what is this teaching me? And it was like, it wasn't about the car. I was looking at the car and it was the left wheel and it was this. And it wasn't, I had a boulder in the road. Something was blocking me, something was stopping me. And I hadn't done a couple of big sessions on myself for a little while. So, that was done yesterday.
Well, time's a ticking.
And yeah, I know. But it was okay. And the joke was, right, it was on the top floor of the car park. Um, and because of the height restriction, and my car, I've got a little mini now, so my car doesn't have a spare wheel, right? So I've got no
Oh,
spare, literally no spare to get me out of here, right?
oops.
And the tow trucks and all of that were like, we can't get up there. And I just sat there and I went, Claire, no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. This is another level of stepping into your personal power, right? And I did ring
Yeah.
Andrew and I was like, oh, can you help? But wasn't that? It was much better than I just sorted the shit out myself.
I've got to say that's probably the biggest thing I have learned in this last year working with you is that permission to stop and say, I don't like what just happened here. Like the other day, my washing machine, big puddle of water on the floor, huge, 3, 4 towels mopping it up. And I'm like, oh, I just organised myself a pay rise. As soon as that happens, something comes in. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
no,
what it
hang on. Yeah, no, I don't want this. I'm not okay with this anymore. Anyway, rang the guy. He's come out. It was a hose in the back. quick fix, it's fine. I'm like, see, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas 12 months ago, if I'd found all that water on the floor, I'd have lost my mind and cried.
Yeah.
Lost my mind. Seriously, why is this happening? What else? Like, I don't need one more thing. There's so much. I was just so depleted and so empty. Whereas now, things like that happen, and I just think, all right, what's going on?
Yeah. Asking universe,
What
what's
do I need to do?
yeah.
I had a stiff neck. It's a little bit, it's better now. I had a stiff neck. And actually, one thing that you know that I have done since working with you is, and it's right here, got myself my pendulum. I love pendulums now. Got myself a pendulum. So I went, all right, stiff neck. Not having this. So I get my little pendulum out and tested. And yes, it's all mine. And yes, it's right now, and get yourself in and do the Lionsgate from last year.
Me. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So what I do now is I open up my portal with your work, and I say, and I get my pendulum. I go, right, and do I need to do something in Unleashing Prosperity? No? Okay. Do I need to do something in Sacred Odyssey? Yeah. Okay then. And I open that up
Yeah.
and I go through the categories and I find what I need to do.
Yeah.
I have such a library now. I don't know where to go. So this is my street directory into the
Yeah.
portal. And, is it one of the free meditations? They are so incredible. So yeah,
And that's the
that's the
thing,
game
right?
changer.
Let's tell the viewers. So when people come and work with me, right? I'm an empowerment coach, right? I've struggled with the people pleasing. I've struggled with the boundaries. I've struggled with taking people's stuff on,
Yeah.
right? That's where it led me to a healing journey in my hairdressing business because I was very shamanic, so I used to just absorb everything from my clients. But for me, the greatest gift is, and my background is I've always been a teacher, I've always been a mentor. Even as soon as I finished my hairdressing apprenticeship at 18, I was teaching the other apprentices as soon as I'd got my my red card or something like that. So for me, I think the most empowering thing is that I can activate within you, I can encourage you to actually heal yourself. So with
Yes.
Melissa, when she first
Yeah.
joined, you joined Unleashing Prosperity One, which is my money program. So we
Yeah.
worked a little bit on her health. I gave her advice. She came along, she had a discovery call, and I said, your guides are telling me you need to do this, this, and this. By sending her to the naturopath, that's what got the blood tests. That's what
Mm.
made us look at her health. All right. So she took a little while to get there. But during that time, right, she obviously needed to learn to connect with me on a deeper level. So she turned up to the holistic spiritual community. She listened to the guidance cards of the week. She listened to the free meditations. She listened to
Hmm.
the free healings and stuff like that. Because I think the biggest thing for people to change and transform is to have that real connection with their mentor, with their healer, with their guide. And, like with the naturopath, right? Like with me, and, with the doctor, it was a different story. And it might be that she's ready to change her doctor so that, that doctor is fully supported. But that also shows me that, in the past, she's been with that doctor for like 14 years, that she wasn't being supported anymore by that doctor. She needed to find a new one, right? She needed to find her people around her to support her through this support wound. And then fast forward, you went down the naturopath route, etc. But the next area of your life that we really needed to address was your finances. Okay. So that you could pay for your prescriptions, you could, your naturopath prescriptions, change your food, etc. Go and do like some health classes and, fitness classes, etc. So she joined straight up for Unleashing Prosperity. So what was that like? What made you jump in to work on your money and your finances from a mindset point of
To
view?
be honest, the biggest push for me to do that was I wanted to be in your circle, in your vortex. I
Yeah,
wanted to be around the healings. I wanted to be around. I did want the financial improvements in my life,
yeah,
but I was getting so much from that energy and from the healings. I just wanted more of it. And, at the time, Mum was in hospital, having been hit by a car. It was just crazy. I was like, when I've got time to work on my business, and I was so much in my do. I needed something else to say, this is scheduled into your calendar. It's time to stop. And so it was a nice combination of, I had scheduled time, I had to stop, I had to turn up to be somewhere on the calls. I had homework to do, so I had to focus on doing that, because that was still my part of my people pleasing persona, that I'd only do something if someone else needed me to do it.
Mm.
So being told what to do, and yeah, and then it was sort of coupled with the financial benefit that I was looking for as well. And so yeah, that's what drove me into that program. And that was incredible, because doing that program, I kind of did bare minimum on that one, because I still wasn't in a great place. I hadn't been to the naturopath yet, didn't know about that. So I was still sort of running on empty, but it kept me above water. It kept me, kept my head above water. And so it kept me going. And that was really incredible. And I remember off the back of Unleashing Prosperity, I came out of that in a different place. I felt more, well, I felt more empowered, more in my own power. And that's something that's always been a really deep value of mine, is that, not give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. That let
Absolutely.
people, give people resources to stand in their own abilities and their own skill, and upskill. And I felt like I was gaining that. So then I jumped into your Sacred Odyssey program that you created, and that was more around that whole healing, more way of Unleashing Prosperity focused on finances a lot.
Yeah.
That was more around the healing, and I'm like, oh, this is actually what I need more of right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got the Unleashing Prosperity. I've got that for the lifetime of your business,
Yeah.
so that's there. I always could go back into that. That was nice to have
Absolutely.
that bit of safety net. But then I was like, oh, yeah, I need to do this. So I jumped in the Sacred Odyssey. And what was interesting was, when I jumped into Sacred Odyssey, I had to utilize your payment plan. And I did that. I utilized the payment plan. And then now I've jumped into Unleashing Prosperity 3.0. So that's great. I don't mind that I missed 2.0, because that comes with
You
it.
get
So
it
that's
anyway.
awesome. I've got all
Yeah.
of it anyway now with 3.0. So that's great. But I was able to pay for that in full upfront. And that was a shift. That was a massive shift. So now I was at a point where I was, paying a bit off the electricity bill and getting the extension. Now I'm like, oh, here it is, paid, done. And I've shifted. I'm not yet at the point of rolling in this massive, healthy bank balance. However, everything I need is there,
Mm.
which is that it's starting,
Oh,
the
massive.
scales have tipped. The scales have tipped. And that, baby, you've got to go step by step. You can't go 0 to a million in a heartbeat. Maybe some can. That's apparently not my journey.
Yet. Yet.
I'm
Get
appreciate.
your
What do they
confidence
say?
out.
It takes years to become an overnight success.
Well, that's bullshit.
But I apparently need to experience and appreciate these steps along the way,
Journey.
and
Don't you
but
love
they've
that?
made such a difference, such a difference. So doing that first Unleashing Prosperity was kind of, for some, I know, who've jumped in and have had incredible, instant, tangible results. For me, I needed to recalibrate my foundation.
Mm.
That's what I feel has happened for me. I have needed to calibrate my foundation, because if I had gotten instant, incredible, huge, tangible results, I feel like for me it'd be like all those people that win the lotto and 3 months later they're broke again,
Yeah.
because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to hold the space to have this level of abundance that they want to have.
Yeah.
So it's I've done a solid year of foundational work that's starting now. I can feel now where the scales have tipped.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's no going back.
massive change. To literally
Yeah.
go from joining up at Unleashing 1.0 and like, oh, do I do it? Do I not do it?
I
This
was
money could actually
terrified.
be spent elsewhere on the kids. It
Yeah.
was a massive call for you. And, yes,
Mm.
definitely being in a program, being in the energy, being in the vortex, because I create vortexes and stuff like that, it will
Yes.
shift and transform. If you turn
Yeah.
up, right, and you might not have done necessarily the work because in the programs I do have healers in there, and then I do have normal folk as such, right? So
Yeah.
I remember in Unleashing Prosperity, you were blown away with me teaching you how to change a limiting belief, right? You
Oh,
used your own
gobsmacked.
type of pendulum that you had, was a
Oh, I had my necklace.
yeah, you had your necklace,
I
right?
used my necklace
You how
because
to
I didn't have a
change your
pendulum.
beliefs. So I helped you to step into your power to make
Yes.
change in your life. You turned up every single week for the
Yep.
calls. You did the healings. You did the meditations, and it was great for you because you did feel a little bit lost in that program because there was other healers in there. But then you turned up for Sacred Odyssey, and Sacred Odyssey was all around health and well-being and stepping into your power as a woman. And
Mm.
everybody got what they needed from that program. But then you coming back into Unleashing, right? And you missed 2.0, which was fine. You were working on what you needed to work on at the time.
Yeah.
And you'll get the access of 2.0 because you signed up for 3. But to literally message me and go, oh, no, I'm going to pay it in full. I'm not going to have the payment plan. I was like, oh my God, like from 1 to 3, like
This is
massive.
not the conversation.
Because you know what
Yeah.
you've done, you've increased your self-worth.
Yeah.
You've put yourself as number one priority, right? And if we think about it, all the shit that's happened, I know you've had to help other people, but it's been at detriment to your own health and well-being and your
Yeah.
finances. The universe has been showing you you are special, you are important, you matter, right? And you turning up with your cash and going, sign me up, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Boom. And yes, the good thing about these programs is that they are recorded, right? And you can go back and watch them at any time. And I just love the fact that you've got proper pendulum now, which is great. But you are taking your power back. You are empowered to heal yourself. It's not about it's not about having clients and working with people. You know this, right? You've worked with clients,
Mm.
you've got team around you that you want them to be proactive. You don't want to be like wiping their nose all the time,
No,
right?
I always train team members. I do a lot of team management and a lot of team like onboarding. So training them into that they might have the skills to do the job, but training them into the systems and processes for that specific client. And as you know, it's all very individual. I always train for them to not have to come back with 100 questions
Yeah,
and go, oh, can you show me this? Can you do this for me? Can you do this? No, I'm not doing anything for you. I'll show you how to do it. I've always been a big believer in letting people have the ability to have their independence, to have their own responsibility, to be able to take the initiative, to be able to grow. There's yeah, I'm not up for being, you know, micromanaging
mm,
and saying, oh, I have to, my power is in the control I hold.
yeah,
No, my power is in what I can do for you, what I
yeah,
can help you do for yourself, really, not what I can do for you, but what I can help you do for yourself to
yeah.
be able to move forward. So, and that's why I really love your approach too, because you did do that. You showed me how to use a pendulum. I still don't believe that I use a pendulum the best way.
There's
I
no
don't
best
know.
way. There's no
There's a
best
lot to
way.
learn, I
The best
feel.
way is your way. The best way
Oh,
is
there
your
you
way.
go. Then I kick it using a pendulum. Because anytime I start feeling myself settle into a bit of panic, a bit of little bit of anxiety, I'm like, no, stop. We're not doing this. Right. What's the question? What is it I'm not comfortable with? And I find a way to turn that into kind of a yes, no. So I can use the pendulum to help guide me. And it just slows me down and slowing down and slowing into um, stepping out of that crazy mode, like that in itself can be enough.
Mm.
So that's really, yeah, it has been very empowering. And funny, I mean, this is my business is empowered business.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
my tagline I use is be empowered, be empowering.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how we all grow.
And you've definitely embodied that now, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're definitely authentic with it.
I did not foresee this 12 months ago. No,
No.
not in any realm was this a possibility for me 12 months ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And a conscious business, a soul-led business is what the empowered business is for you. It is you, right? Your business is an extension of you, and businesses, children, family create your soul growth lessons 100%, right? So you can stand up there in front of your team and say, I this is 100% my hero's
Yeah.
journey. This is where I was, this is where I am. And yeah, I'm gonna give the same to you, because you've got the coding, right? You've stepped into it, you've empowered yourself, right?
I've had the lessons.
You've
Yep.
got the lessons and you've got the coding, you've got the blueprint, right? So
Mm,
that you can then, it doesn't matter whether theirs has been a health journey or a financial journey or a relationship breakup, but you've got the coding in you, in your DNA, to help other people be empowered, right?
yeah.
And that's what they'll be magnetized to.
And that lights me up. It
Yeah.
lights me up to see somebody feel better, do better, be better.
Without you people pleasing and without you using your own health and well-being at the detriment to others.
Yes, yes, that's a new piece.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that. I'm very much enjoying that. Yes.
Because people said to me, how do you do this amount of work? How do you do like back-to-back clients? How do you do, like a program in the morning and then an event in the evening and this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, I know my own body and rhythm. Like supplements do bloody help, right? Naturopaths are
Oh,
good.
yes.
They are worth
Oh,
their weight in gold.
and the naturopath, the supplements I get through the naturopath, I mean, she's even empowered me. I don't have to keep going back to her to pay for an appointment with her to get my refill of supplements. She set me up to be able to order them online myself, and she's put in the specific supplements into like my dashboard.
Mm.
So I know I'm choosing the right ones. So I have control over that, which is beautiful. And I'm like, she's not there. She's another person who's not there just to make a dollar off me being reliant on her.
Yeah,
And that's fantastic. It's
yeah,
just the best feeling.
yeah.
But yeah, those supplements are far better quality.
You found it. You found a good one. You found a good one. And have you
I
changed your
did.
doctor, Melissa? Everyone was going to be
No,
asking
I talk to this thing. I so rarely go.
that. That was the
I'm
thing.
just
Right?
gonna.
I went and got blood tests. Oh, actually, I cut my foot, right? So I had to go and have stitches. And while I was there, the doctor said to me, when was the last time you visited a doctor? I went, oh, I can't. He's like, oh, you're at that age where you should. I said, all right, then I'll have some blood tests. And I thought, oh, I'll get a new naturopath up here. So I took the blood tests and he was like, oh, this, that, and the other. And I said, I never go to the doctor. What, you don't think you have? Oh, no, no. And he's like, well, how's your hormones? And do you think you're in menopause? And I said, well, no, because I manage it with supplements. And he's like looking at me going, okay, this woman's crazy. So I went
I'm
back
not
to
gonna
the
do
blood
that.
results and he was like, no, I had a hysterectomy 8 years ago and they reckoned I'd be through menopause within 18 months of my hysterectomy. Uh-uh. No, no, no.
Wow.
I can still feel when I would ovulate, which is great, right? Because it means
Yeah.
my energy and everything like that is really good. I get a bit of a hot flush every now and again. I just take a few more supplements the next day.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh no, I'm Benjamin Button. I'm just getting
No,
younger with
that's
age.
how I feel. I feel better now. As I said to you before, I did Jenny Craig 20 years ago. I'm currently 12 kilo heavier now than when I started Jenny Craig, but I feel so little. I feel so skinny. I
Because
feel
you feel
so
good.
healthy.
You feel good.
I feel good because I am, 23 kilo lighter than I was 6, 7 months ago. Certainly 12 months ago, it's made a huge difference. But I'm so much bigger than when I started Jenny Craig. And I remember how I felt at that point. I felt disgusting, felt
Mm.
awful. And I went, wow, it's actually just perception.
Mm.
This is
Yeah.
all perception.
It'd be
And
interesting if you'd
feeling,
measured yourself back then, and then you measure yourself now, whether it would be different on a tape measure.
yeah, I don't have those measurements, so I wouldn't be able to. But, dress size wise, no, I had gotten to a size 14 then. I'm a 16 now.
Okay,
So
so
I am big. So I am bigger. Yeah, I am bigger,
only a dress size. It's only like an inch here
but
and there.
but
Yeah.
only a dress size. Yeah,
But you
that's
know
right.
what? It's your life force energy. That's what you've put back into
So
you.
different.
Life
So
force.
different.
You can see it in your skin, your
Yeah.
hair, you glow. And the thing is with healing, right? Because you're healing through and you're changing on a soul level, your eyes start to change. They go brighter, they get bigger, and people feel your energy, right? You can walk into a place, even sitting here today, your energy, you're like, you've had
Yeah.
another shift since I last saw you. I can see that. I can
Yeah,
see
I went back and did Lionsgate
All
again.
right, hey, there you go. I can't wait for the next one.
I know, right? Nice and clear, ready for the next one. So
Yeah,
yeah, bring that on. I'll
yeah,
probably do it again, to be honest,
yeah.
because
Well,
I
that's the
find it
beauty of
really
things, right?
incredible.
And that's
Mm,
the thing when you're tapped in. So, but you use your pendulum for
yeah,
your guidance. So it depends really what people do. And I use pendulum all the time, right? You know that. It will be like, okay, do I need this? What do I need today? I know I need to do a healing. What do I need to work on? And it will show, like you said, unleashing sacred. Just do a meditation. Do this, do that. 100%. So you've never looked
yeah.
back.
Never looked back.
Yeah.
I can't go back to where I was now. I don't think it's possible.
So is this part of your life now? Is this who you are?
Absolutely, absolutely. I even have an abundance corner in my office now.
You have a
I
little
have
altar now, don't you?
I have an altar. I have um I got cash out last night. I went and grabbed some milk and bread and a few things and I got cash out. I'm totally sucked into tapping and this
Yeah.
electronic funds, right? I never have cash with me. And I'm like, I'm gonna need some cash on Friday. You know what? I'm gonna get double what I need and it sits on my table.
But yeah,
It
yeah.
just sits there.
Hmm. Yeah.
In with my candle and my other pendulum that I got as a freebie when I bought this pendulum. That was really lovely.
Because you resisted it,
And
didn't you? You resisted doing
yeah,
like the different sacred practices and rituals that you can
yeah,
do. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's fun,
so
hey?
much. Yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's open up, and I mean, I went along as and when I have, um, pushed myself to take the next step slightly before I feel ready. I'm
Mm.
like, just do it, and it's just each time it's elevated me that little bit more, little bit more, little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see what's to come because I'm now starting this next 12 months from a very different foundational base where I was last 12 months. I feel
Yeah.
like I've had to fix my foundation. Now that my foundation feels really solid, brace yourself.
I know, like, if you think how much you've changed in 12 months, what's going to happen in the next 12 months? And it's
That's
like, it's
right.
exciting, but it's scary as well,
I
isn't it?
feel like there's exponential growth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See it.
yeah.
You've
It just
created
gets quicker and quicker.
momentum. You've set yourself free from the past, and now
Yeah,
you're starting off on a completely different starting block from a
that's it.
different position and perspective. So, what advice would you give anybody just wrapping this up now?
When you are in the depths of shit is happening around me to me, it's overwhelming in any sort of depths, a level of overwhelm. The best thing you can actually do for yourself, which feels like the hardest and most impossible thing to do for yourself, is to stop, breathe, take 5 minutes, and look at what you can do for yourself. And so I'd really urge anyone who's feeling that way, who's feeling any sense of overwhelm, reach out to Claire, reach out to a naturopath, reach out to go and get a massage. Like, and I know sometimes the financial constraints can feel the biggest overwhelming block. Um, but there's like just one thing, just do one thing. And I mean, even jump onto Claire's website and download her free meditations as a starting point, and just make a commitment to yourself to do one of the meditations once a day. Some of them are 10 minutes, some of them are 30 minutes. This is not sitting around for, an hour or hours on end. Sitting there and omming to yourself. This can be, baby steps are actually there. But if you take those baby steps, the opportunity for those bigger steps unfold in a really beautiful and natural way. And if you just push yourself that little bit, all of a sudden you turn around 12 months later and go, I'm a whole new person. What happened? Life is good.
Yeah, that's it.
Life is good. It's still not what I thought, but it's good.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
it.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah. My thing was, I can honestly say that every day I wake up and I'm happy, right? I wasn't like that years ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And, even when I do bugger up the car, I can laugh about it, right? Because shit happens, but
Yeah.
I'm
Doesn't
still
have to sink
happy.
you.
No
Yeah.
one takes my happiness away. I'm happy. I'm
That's
fully
right.
embodied in that happiness and that joy of life, right? Sometimes things are difficult and I'm tired and I can be grumpy, right?
Yeah.
But, everybody deserves happiness in their life. That's what we've come for, right? And we just need to find the parts of us, whether we need to unlock them, whether we need to heal them, or whether we need to change them from in a holistic, way, with food and well-being and water, right? Um, everyone deserves happiness in this life, 100%, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Melissa, how do people get involved with your water business? Tell me a little bit about that and how you can actually empower people so people can contact.
So that is getting involved with the water business for yourself is um, purchasing the water ionizer. So getting yourself the healthiest, the most amazing water you could possibly drink without having to go to some deep forest spring that's never really been touched by humans. Um, Buying that unit is your investment into the business. That's it. That's all there is. With that, you get allocated a distributor number. So then that's how when you sell to other people, that's where the revenue comes in through.
Yeah.
My mentorship, and I don't do it alone, which is the really beautiful thing. We have a team that work. And so you connect with different people on different levels, and we all have different expertise to share and different experiences to share. So it's a real spread the love kind of environment, and it's very, very positive. But that mentorship isn't something that you're charged for. The mentorship comes free. That mentorship just comes to you. So my look, for anyone who is curious, and nobody comes into this business without all of the knowledge. We're very much an open book. Um, Usually I connect with people just through social media, through the DMs, like reach out. I can share. I will share as much information as you need to feel like you're making an educated and informed decision about what is right for you, whether that's to press forward or not. But nobody comes in questioning whether or not they've done the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's imperative. Because if you're doing that, you're not going to get what you need out of the mentorship. And it's just incredible. It's so empowering, it's so powerful. And you are provided with the resources and the guidance to stand alone. But yet you don't ever stand alone. The community, somebody really had a go at our community leader, the founder of our wider community. She just booted him out. Sorry. No, we're not having that kind of energy here. That's not working. If that's how you feel, you are not part of this team. I couldn't believe it. It's the only person I've ever seen that happen to in the last 12 months. It doesn't happen. It's just not tolerated. So there's no level of toxicity. There's not, people aren't competitive for the sake of being competitive. People in their, any level of competitive is coming. Are you coming? Let's go. Let's do this together. It's a very win-win environment. So yeah, like reach out in the DM. I'm happy to have a chat, and I'm happy to share whatever information as detailed as you need to make that decision, to make that informed decision, because that's really important.
And so
Yeah,
people can buy the water machine through you and just enjoy having the water, the healing,
absolutely.
I'm going to call it the healing water, the sacred water, or they can be distributors as well, can't they? But then
That's right.
they distribute, they come through and they're mentored as well.
That's right. So you can buy just the drinking water machine and just have the machine. And it's not just drinking water. There's 68 uses for the water with
Yeah.
cleaning, and it's just incredible. There's also a shower um, water purifier, like water filter. There's also a shower unit, which is, it's like showering in a spa every day. It's really beautiful. But you're not absorbing those chlorines and things through your skin, through your shower water.
Yeah.
So that's really beautiful too. So and there's a new product they've just released, which is I can't think what it's to do with reducing the electromagnetic frequencies in your home and around you.
Oh, right. Cool.
So this is a brand new product. I don't know a lot about it, but the information's there. I've got to read up on it more. It's like that brand new. It is that brand new. Yeah,
They're a very science-based, holistic well-being company to work for, and that
they
really does
are.
show through the whole of their products, but also through their team and the way that they encourage others. You know, it's this real healthy environment. You know, that's what it's
It
what it
is. It is. Their values are, it's just so full of integrity. It's incredible. It's a 50-year-old company. I've got some team members who are currently in Japan celebrating the
Yeah, I
50th
saw that
anniversary.
case over there. Yeah.
So yeah, Kate's over there. It's just beautiful, and they have a 500-year vision.
Wow.
Who does that?
And you know,
Who
like
does that? Yeah.
when you tap into and you because you've read it as well, the Diana Cooper, The Golden Future, right? The
That was
businesses
incredible.
I know the businesses that are here to stay moving into like 2050, you know, it finishes
Mm,
2030 to 2050, are these higher consciousness. So it's amazing that this business has like that amount of
yes,
years vision within it. It's like,
yes,
can I dare say from a real woo-woo point of view, these businesses were created
yeah,
from downloading through the Atlantean era and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
you
And
know,
they're really unique in the way they've structured their compensation plan, their commission structure. They've patented their plan, so no other company can duplicate it or copy it, and it's the most incredibly fair. I can actually have higher earnings than the person who sponsored me into the business.
yeah,
So there's not this traditional structure of the CEO sits at the top and they
pyramid,
are always the
yeah,
highest paid person, and the entry level person is always the lowest paid person.
mm,
You
yeah, it's not.
actually can bypass.
Yeah, yeah, they're making it fair for
It's
everybody. It's
literally,
a conscious business.
it's a conscious business,
It's a
and
con-
level of effort you put into the business
you get
is
back.
what guides you and what drives to where you end up being. You're not restricted by somebody else.
Mm,
And I think that's
beautiful.
where the real empowerment comes in.
Mm.
And yeah, it is really incredible. So again, just enjoy the water and get all the health benefits
Yeah,
and
if
less
anything,
chemicals in your
drink the
home.
water.
Yeah, all those
Definitely,
things. And I've
definitely.
still got bubbles. Look at that.
There you
There's
go.
still bubbles.
Still bubbles. That's amazing. Thank you,
Anyway,
Melissa, for joining me. It's been wonderful chatting to you
thank
as
you for having me.
always. And I hope everyone's got some real takeaways from, the benefits of moving into a spiritual, holistic path in their
I
lives
hope
to
so.
make a
Thank
change and
you.
transformation.
And if anyone wants to know any more about my story, reach out. I'm happy to have a chat
Melissa's a
if it
great friend.
helps.
She's a real blessing. A real blessing. Thank you, my love. Take care.
Thank you.